Right. Are you guys settled? Are you guys ready? Okay. I see one thumbs up. That's a go. That's a go.
Hi, my name's Jack Yamsky, and this is Glenn Lamb. We're both engineers at AQUALIS, and today we're going to be talking about water asset management and streamlined inspections.
So before we get really into the meat and potatoes of our presentation, I just kind of want to give you guys a preference of like who we are and why we were the dynamic duo who was put up to do this effort. So Jack is basically the Spider-Man when it comes to inspection of universe, but in like the Milwaukee Aqualis office. He just likes being outside and doing this inspection, whereas myself, I am the gal in the chair. I like coding and I like to work with technology. And I like to work with Jack, who is my Spider-Man, to, patrol these water assets in our area. And our common enemies, we don't like doing everything by hand. We are not the biggest fan of data silos and disorganization. And as we heard from everyone's presentation, there's a lot of doing things by hand, data silos, lack of data silos, and just disorganization and trying to, be a property owner or managing an asset.
So what makes an enemy an enemy? So doing everything by hand comes with some disadvantages. It's manual data entry is prone to errors. Human error could be bad handwriting, something someone can't read. It's harder to identify trends when you have to look at physical documents instead of something that's compiles everything together. There's always a risk of losing or damaging your clipboard when you're out there looking at all these ponds. You could drop it down in a hole and never get it back. You leave a paper trail. There's no automation or integration with other software systems. And lack of real-time updates to the people back in the office.
Yeah, so even if you drop your phone in the manhole, all your other inspections prior to that moment has been received in office, so you're good.
And data silos and disorganizations are basically large conglomerations of information that you have to search through to find what you're looking for. And it can get out of hand for large municipalities or larger sites that have a lot of BMPs that they are taking care of. And when you're going through all these documents, it can be time extensive to do a desk review. And so just getting everything into one searchable system is very helpful. So what are our strategies to defeat these enemies? Well, we want to move toward water asset management as a goal rather than just a means to an end for compliance for regulations and compliance. And we're going to do this by streamlining our services for our clients and fine-tuning our process to provide more accurate and repeatable deliverables. So what is water asset management? Water asset management basically entails mapping, knowing where your assets are, what their condition is, being able to view and generate reports. And add on to this is that it streamlines your inspections and your maintenance processes. So why should you look at water asset management? Well, water asset management really addresses a lot of concerns assets have, be that aging infrastructure, regulatory pressure, ineffective or inefficient maintenance practices, and rising costs.
So in terms of water asset management, we use Geographic Information System, GIS. So GIS is basically any technology used to help us capture, store, analyze, manage, and visualize geographic data. With the general outcome, our goal is to reduce our operation costs and maintenance costs by staying on top of these assets. But we also want to ensure that our water infrastructure are performing as designed. And reasons why we are moving toward GIS or just like using it in general is because of the centralized digital record keeping. So there's a lot of questions about this. So we do this so that we can keep our inspection and maintenance records organized, accessible, and secure. So no more paper files or scattered spreadsheets. And as Nick mentioned, sometimes, your regulatory agency might be requesting for a document that you probably had thrown in the recycling. So all you got to do is scan it and we'll, have it uploaded and saved for you. And as you guys heard from Kevin, desk review is a really big part of our inspections. And so with using GIS, we're able to streamline this desk review and reporting, which kind of helps us better generate reports and communicate with our stakeholders better. In terms of just helping with our daily work, using GIS improves our asset visibility and data-driven decision-making. So we're mapping our infrastructure, allowing our team to see what assets exist, where they are, and what conditions they're in, but also having it all available on your phone so that our field staff can compare, their inspection from last year of that asset to kind of help them make that decision in field. And it's easier for our team to collaborate. So as you guys heard, we have, our engineers, our inspectors, our maintenance guys, and using our GIS platform, we're able to interact with all three of these categories and have everything updated in real time.
So what's a streamlined inspection process looks like? I'll just go through the general inspection process again. Kevin kind of went through this. Usually get assigned the task, you coordinate with the municipality or owner for any plan documents or maintenance agreements. Then you want to coordinate with the property owner to schedule time for the inspection. You do your desk review and make a game plan for the inspection. You go out, perform the inspection, come back, create a report. So with GIS, we can streamline this process by being able to track all current and past system assets and notify inspectors and engineers when they're due for an inspection or maintenance. And then it also allows for the storage of documents in a centralized location and actually with a specific asset. So you only have to ask the owner or municipality one time for a document, and then you always know where it is because it's stored with that specific asset. Also for larger sites and systems, it's a little complicated to plan a route when you're just looking at a plan set when you're out there. But with the GIS, you're able to use like a mobile app, look at your phone or tablet and get an actual like GPS location of a asset out there. So you're not actually like trekking through the woods or tall weeds looking for a little manhole cover that's overgrown. And since it stores all these photos and anything you do out in the field with that specific asset, you're able to automatically generate PDF reports and photo logs ready for submission, right, with a couple clicks.
So some assets that we have managed are manholes, catch basins, best management practices, BMPs, also known as stormwater control measures, SCMs, green stormwater infrastructure, GSI, lift station, clean out, pipes, open channel, linear trench drain, and culverts. So for today's presentation, I'm going to give you guys just a small demo of the work that we had done in catch basin. So we use ArcGIS Pro and ArcGIS Online. So this is kind of what our interface looks like. This is our example site that Jack did an inspection for. So these little icons are our sediment trap. And when you click on these icons, this little pop-up comes up, and this is everything you want to know about your asset. So you can put information regarding its life cycle status, different information regarding elevation, and if this property owner wants to like connect this into like a bigger system and want us to kind of outline their pipes connecting to it, we can do that as well. And then if there are inspections associated with it, it is stored with the asset. So we're able to go back very quickly based off where the asset is. We also have a way for us to plan, monitor, and assign our assets. So we use this catch basin inspections planner. So when we have an asset that's ready to be assigned for, we just assign it, and then our field staff gets basically an instant notification on their cellular device that tells them where this general location of this asset is, when they need to do it by. In field, they can locate exactly where this asset is, which one they need to do, because sometimes you might have like 12 on a site and you don't need to do all 12 of them. So this tells them explicitly which ones they need to do. And then our field staff can take photos of that asset and it would be associated with that asset. And this kind of helps us like really keep our photo log organized. And once the field staff is ready to perform their inspection, we do have a template just because there is a lot going on when you're out in field. We want to make sure that our field staff is hitting all the requirements. And this is how we were able to keep our inspection uniform and repeatable, making sure that nothing is forgotten. Also, there's capabilities for our field staff to look at the inspection from the previous year. So for example, you're at a manhole and you're like, I think this looks like it's poor. Let me see what it looked like last year. It's also poor, was in better conditions last year, and that can help them make a decision or make notes in field. There's also capabilities for our field staff to add information when they're out in field. Because as you guys know, a lot of times your plan set does not coordinate with what is actually there. So for example, we are at this site. Press play. Was it playing? Okay. I swear it worked yesterday when we were test driving this. Okay, well, I'm just gonna talk through it then because it decided that it did not want to work today. Okay, so we're out in field. We see a manhole that was not on this like site plan. So we go and we can physically add it. We can add information on site if we can measure it then. But afterwards, we can make a note for that asset and be like, hey, missing from map, need to go and input that data when you're back in office. So you're not just adding, you also can make a note that you need to go back and like input that information. And this is how we're able to communicate between our inspectors and our engineers back in the field. So it was actually really fun while Jack was doing this one. I was just like, I wonder what Jack is doing today. So it was cool to see as he was doing this inspection, the data coming in as he was completing them. So that can really help with like the gal in the chair. So like he's out in field, there's an issue. I can quickly upload any attachments that he needs onto this asset that would be uploaded onto his phone. So like really easy for us to work as a team to patrol these assets. But also when you're out there, you also want to mark some other issues. So like first, say you're a manhole and it's incorrect information or it's unsafe or not accessible, you want to be able to make it obvious. So you mark it on the map so that the next person who's there sees that same note unless it's been, validated and solved. So once you're back in the office, it's really easy for you to review your assets and then also have all the photos that you can look at that goes along with the asset. So once you're finalized your inspection, we make it real quick for our team to output the photographic log. So talk to them about how awesome that is.
Yeah, this is really helpful because on some sites with multiple BMPs, you're taking maybe 5, 10, 15 photos for each BMP, and then you have to go back in the office and remember where you were standing, what direction you were facing, where exactly this was on the site. And with this GIS, it's automatically uploaded to that asset. So you don't actually have to go back and sort. It's already sorted and saved to that asset. So it saves a ton of time.
Right. So when your, memorandum report goes back to your client into the municipality and things has been approved for you to do a maintenance, our maintenance team can have the same accessibility as our inspection team. So out in field, I'm so sad that these videos don't play because I worked really hard screen recording. So your maintenance staff is out there. They can review the information regarding to the asset as well as information regarding to the inspection and the photos in those inspections. Just because things can change very quickly in field. That like a manhole that you inspected 2 weeks ago may look very differently when our maintenance team is there. When they're out there, they can also have the same capabilities to create map notes, review any attachments that the inspectors or engineers may have for them, and take any pictures they want. And that will be very specific to it. So they can make a map note and say, not accessible, can't fix it today, wasn't able to access it, and they can resolve any of the other issues that they were able to resolve. So we're able to like maintain that communication instead of just like sending on email and then an engineer has to call like, hey, what's up? Where's this? Whereas like this is all managed by itself.
So what do we expect from implementing GIS into our services? Well, we want to build a future-ready system that supports proactive maintenance throughout the life cycle of the asset, life cycle planning, and extended asset longevity. We also want to establish a centralized knowledge hub where everything is in as one centralized location that's easily searchable, so you don't actually have to go back through those data silos ever again and start searching file to file. It's easily scalable for growth and expansion, and so for the future, it also improves resilience and from the regulations and regulatory readiness for anything that may come in the future.
Yes, one of the cool capabilities that I didn't really mention is that we are able to set a reminder for each of these assets when the last inspection happens, and it could be either based off of our inspection cycle or the compliance cycle. So we can get that notification and then we can, you know, let our client knows before they get the letter to like get all that in order.
We also want to foster cross functional collaboration between our stakeholders. We can generate maps that our stakeholders can view so they know their condition and location of their assets as well.
In terms of long-term goals, we want to be able to develop in-house audited inspections. And you guys know in order to do like an audit, you need a lot of data. So we're collecting a lot of data, hoping to develop a machine learning tool that supports this inspection audits, helping inspectors validate and finalize conditions rating more accurately and efficiently. So this is very important as we do inspections across the nation. Every office may have different standards. We don't want that. We want AQUALIS to have the same standards. We don't want to have people saying that, you know, the Milwaukee office, you know, their inspection are real tough. Like we don't want that. We want it to be uniform and repeatable across all inspectors for AQUALIS. And then lastly, for the watershed, with all this data, I know it's very important for, you know, watershed planners to really understand how these BMPs perform. And when we have all this data, we can actually quickly make these analysis to not only inform our team on better designing and maintaining, but just like the sustainability practices of our watershed. But yeah, that's Fireman and Gallon Chair.
Thank you for attending. Again, my name is Jack Amsky, and this is Glenn Lamb. And if you would like to contact our services, please reach out to our business development manager, Nick McDonald, and then we're open to questions.
Yes.
So we're set up something like this. We're using CityWorks, and that was like kind of a hassle to set up and it wasn't really worked how we wanted to. So if we have like our catch basins and our BMPs and GIS already, what's like the level of effort to set up something like this?
Probably like 2 interns. It's really easy. It just like needs someone to sit and input all that data. And there's like certain formats. Oh, I'm so sorry. So someone from Milwaukee County asked if it was easy to implement something like this, transferring from data that they already have in GIS. Yeah, it's pretty easy. It's just that you need to like organize the data so that they're uniform. And then do you want like the inspection part of it or just like the asset management part of it? Yeah, so there's like a pipeline that goes with it, and some of the tools are available through ArcGIS, but some of the tools were built in-house. And we are also not covered by like ArcGIS solutions anymore because I like customize it, and they're like, if you customize our program, we're not gonna be able to help you do any help. So it's easy, but you definitely need someone who's like a map tech to do it, and like 2 interns to input the data. Yes, Chip.
You find, is there a certain size site, say, a smaller size site, where maybe it doesn't make sense to do the GIS approach, or is it easy enough to set up where it really makes sense on any scale of the site?
It's pretty easy. Oh, sorry. Someone asked if there's a point of the size of the site where this doesn't become feasible anymore or harder to implement. It's pretty easy to implement. Once you get it going, and you have know what you do, it's pretty easy to go up there and set it up. But the main benefits coming from like the automatic report generation, that really helps on larger sites when you have to take a lot of data and sort it and automatically generate it. But it was something where that has like 4 catch basins. It's not that hard to just look at 4 pictures of 4 catch basins and know where they were. So,
But as we mentioned in our presentation, we want to endorse more water asset management approach rather than just doing something for regulatory purposes. So I see where you're coming from, but we want to collect those two, because if that property owner decides he wants to expand his site, we'll have those 4 that he has. If he wanted to add like, 5 more or whatever, we'll have all that data available for him. It's just like a little effort, more effort for the low sites, but it'll pay off in the long run if they're willing to, grow with us. Yes.
Are there any clients that are not using GIS? Pretty much everybody now knows.
We kind of decide that in-house this is our process, and it just keeps our own data more organized. So the client doesn't even have to know that that's what we're doing. We're just keeping this information so that when they come back this next time, we don't have to look like, where are their plans? What happened last time? What was the inspection? It kind of helps us to keep it all organized. So I don't know that they're saying, yeah, please add us in, or
Yeah.
the whole system was set up. It makes it pretty easy to just go into this with each client, right? And maybe you want to repeat what I said for those clients.
So, someone from the audience asked if there are any clients that does not want to use GIS or is not using GIS. So this is an internal process that we have on how we're maintaining all of our clients. And so technically they don't know that they're using GIS, but if they want us to, use GIS directly with them, we can create dashboards specifically for their assets. So there's options for that. Yes.
The field app that you guys are using, is it something that you guys created, or is it like an ArcGIS?
it's ArcGIS field maps.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi, Chip.
You sort of answered this, but so the deliverable to the client, you guys actually give them the app where they can pull this data up on their own cell phone or tablet or whatever, or where they can manage themselves, or?
So we've only used ArcGIS for ourselves, but if our client wants us to build them a dashboard or an app for their sites, we can do that. Because we've also built dashboards. I know you and Fiona has built dashboards for what? Green infrastructure assets and Green Bay?
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, so if a municipality or client has an existing GIS system, then we can help to integrate it, or we can at least display outputs in a non-GIS form that they can interpret.
Yeah, but for the reports is usually the memorandum that Kevin suggested, and then the photographic log that generally takes our team a little longer to do for bigger sites.
They'll be going to lunch a little early. Like, when do you ever go to a conference when you get to go early? But lunch is maybe not quite here yet. I think we have 10 minutes for that. I don't know if anybody wants to ask any questions from earlier this morning about any of the DNR things and how, I would think maybe a conversation with Sam about how much easier would your job be DNR if you had clients with all of their data on the GIS and it's just an easy report I think it really helps everyone to kind of keep it all organized and not have to go through archives in the basement or worry about being shredded after 7 years or any of that, right?
Yeah, I mean, the most efficient way to track anything, right, is gonna be what would be the best for me. DNR unfortunately just can't say like, you shall use GIS. You know, we have some municipalities that to this day are still using paper for everything. You know, we asked for like the storm sewer system maps and they're pulling out big, you know, like printed out pieces of map from their municipality. So yeah, this, I'm in favor of this, and I think a lot of municipalities are as well. You know, it's definitely trending this way, and GIS seems to have like the stronghold when it comes to like the apps, like every 123 in the field.
Yeah,
There are some other apps that folks are using, and I think, you know, it's just weighing out the pros and the cons. Like if they're already paying for this app for some other kind of thing, like I just talked to a municipality where they're like, their finance software like has an ability to do license and management too. So, you know, that would be them, but
yeah,
we definitely like this stuff.
yeah, we like it definitely for the visual aspect of it, just because there's so many sites. So if you know exactly where you're supposed to be, it's really good to just like quickly search as well. Hi, yes,
You using drones?
we want to. Someone's willing to be our client and pay for one of our staff to get drone certified. I think our maintenance staff may be drone certified. I don't know, but we're not. Do you guys know if, Crow, do you know if our maintenance staff are drone certified?
I would say not on a nationwide scale, obviously, but we definitely have, you know, internal people that are able to do that. We've not used it in conjunction with GIS, but I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I've only been at AQUALIS for 6 months, and I think my second month I was out doing an inspection. I was trekking in Peasant Hills. I don't know, I forgot what it was in like Kenosha, and I was like, this is so crazy. Like we're just walking around with a paper map. Like that just seems so like, what's the word? Like caveman like. Just like walking around with a map that's not even accurate. So we're just like, and then they're all overgrown. So we're like, we think the wetlands in here, we think the manhole was in here. And it's like me and another engineer, and we're like both two women just like tracking someone's backyard, and we're like, this is crazy. We need we need to put these in GPS.
Okay.
Okay.